Good afternoon. Welcome to the TheoTrade afternoon video. I am Blake Young. Today is June 4th, 2026, and we're going to talk about the upcoming non-farm payroll or employment status, this week's economic data, as well as where we're seeing the rotation in sectors today. And it's kind of different. We're seeing a little bit of a shift going on. Instead of chasing tech, we're seeing a shift away from that and possibly into safety, and it might be due to the data that we're seeing here. You can see we've got positive data, negative data. We have better than expected manufacturing data in ISM here, significantly higher than the previous month and showing better than expectations. Yet, manufacturing prices and the margins are getting worse and dropping down. Job opening labor turnover survey, and so how many job openings there are increased from 6.89, beat expectation, came in at 7.62. Now those are job openings, not necessarily jobs being filled, and the reason why we know that is even though ADP came in a little bit higher, you can see the weekly unemployment claims. This is new people filing for unemployment benefits. That means they've already been laid off, they've already hit their waiting time period, and now they're applying for unemployment benefits. This number here is not only worse than expected, not only higher than the previous and worse than expected, it is a trend. And if you look at the week over week trends, we dropped down 1 week down here on the week of April 30th, but we've gone higher, higher, small pullback, higher and higher. Now if you click on the revisions right here, you can see higher, higher, a little bit lower there, but still higher than the previous month. And this is really telling us that 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 5 weeks, we've seen higher and higher and higher weekly unemployment claims and outperforming expectations, meaning worse than what we thought. Now, this is the highest weekly unemployment claims going all the way back to February 12th, or February 5th, excuse me, 5th and 12th. This is pushing higher, showing that we are seeing more and more people laid off, more and more people qualifying for unemployment, which is the reason why I think this number is likely accurate, if not worse. So non-farm payroll tomorrow, which is considered one of the most impactful price-moving economic report in any given month, is going to report, and it's expected to go from 115,000 to only 85,000 jobs. The problem with that number of 85,000 jobs is that not only is it a low number, it is a number that also has a margin of error of about 200 to 250,000 because it's a survey. That means this could actually be negative. It could be decline of employment. It could be net negative, even if the number is positive. And when we see the weekly unemployment claims going up 4 out of 5 weeks to the highest level since February, and we look at the pattern and the trends going on here, we can see the unemployment versus employment. The employment has gotten worse and worse and worse and worse. We've gone negative, bounce back up, negative, bounce back up. This is not great. It's the worst we've been in for years. And if you look at the revisions, revise lower, 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 revise lower. Every single month, the revisions have been worse, except for back in January of 2025. So everything for the last year and a half, 2025, 2026, except for 1 month, all the revisions have been lower. So whatever we reported, later on we said, well, it's actually not as good as we said, or it's even worse than we said. And so this is not a good sign. The lowest levels we've been in years, and the most negative we've been in years outside of the 2020 COVID lockdowns. And we're talking about decades. Ignoring the COVID lockdown, the last time we had multiple months negative in a year, we have to go back to 2008, 2009, 2011. So the financial crisis, the recovery, and the next dip in 2010, all tied to that financial crisis. That's the last time it was this bad. So that'll be something really important to watch tomorrow. Now the markets are recovering, and so you say, wait a minute, but all that economic data is bad. Correct. And the market is recovering and rallying on lighter than average volume. We're not going to get to average volume today. We're pushing right back to the same barrier. We failed, sold off, and are trying to get back up to it when we failed. But this time the S&P 500 is not going higher because of tech stocks. This time we're recovering because we're rotating away from tech stocks, which are down 1% for the XLK, while the S&P 500 is up only 0.5%. And it's because of financials and healthcare and more push towards the defensive sectors. And healthcare is the one carrying the load. But let's take a look at healthcare. As you can see, healthcare bounced here, gapped up, closed higher. I expect healthcare ETF to go up and test 155. But we talked about this last week. We talked about buying into Thermo Fisher, into Abbott Labs, into CRISPR technologies. If you look at Thermo Fisher, you can see Thermo Fisher, yeah, it's up 1.5%. But it's up a lot more from when we talked about it last week and the week before. We talked about buying Thermo Fisher and selling puts into this level, about 447. We did a put vertical as well because the cost is high. But that's the setup. And what have we done so far? We've rallied to our first target of 499.90, and we've pulled back and we've gapped up. And if we close above 480, I expect Thermo Fisher to go all the way up to 530. Now, we're not going to chase into that one, but it was a good trade, and there's still opportunities to get into that one again. You take a look at, well, let's start with Abbott instead of CRISPR. Let's go to ABT. We talked about Abbott Labs. Abbott Labs is up 3.3%. We talked about this last week when it was down here at 85. And we got a breakout, a pullback, and an acceleration. This should be near its full profit for selling the puts. And looking for this to get to 90.71 was our first target. And if it can clear there, we're looking all the way up to 96. CRISPR Technologies, CRSP. We also talked about bullish opportunities in here. This one took off, pulled back, and took off again. It's hit the target repeatedly at this 58.01. If it closes above 59.38, I do think you're going for 63. But we did talk about just returning back to the high near 61.76. And again, I'm not going to chase into healthcare. I just want you to see these set up. They rotate days and weeks ahead of time, giving us these opportunities. There's no major news. There's no major earnings that are really driving healthcare. It is the rotation and flight to safety. We're looking for something else that we can get these kind of returns, stability. And I've talked about that healthcare, a lot of these stocks will give you a dividend too. And if we can get those dividends and get paid on those dividends while benefiting from the upside in the market that is leaving technology in this moment, these are the places to look. Now, almost every sector did green today, or some green today. Again, technology, Broadcom and Micron and AMD and Qualcomm, they've weighed it down, so it is negative. But most sectors had positive movement, which means we're selling these and rotating into these. And so we look at the opportunities in stocks like consumer staples, utilities, and even materials, which didn't have a lot of strong movement. But if we look at some of those, this will give us some opportunities to look for discounted stocks. Take a look at XLP, and we can see that price set us up for that bounce. We talked about buying or selling puts at this holding support level, and it gapped up and has filled the gap and come back down to this fair price. Now, this is not where I jump in and start buying long calls or start buying into individual stocks even. I'm looking at this for the opportunity to sell premium on specific names inside of consumer staples. Let's start with one that I don't usually look at. This is Maple Bear. Who knows what it is? I don't know. But it's giving us a potential buy signal on a breakout above this monkey bar. So if we close just a touch higher, what we're looking for is we're looking for a close above 41.89 today. So in the next 45 minutes, if we close above 41.89, I have a buy signal that I'm going to expect the trade to go up to 45. That's a decent trade. It's almost 10%. But I can also say, rather than taking a directional move, let's go back to the idea of selling puts. If I want to sell puts on Maple Bear, I'm going to go with the 40 because it's going to give me 2.89%. 2.89% if I get $1.12. So if I can split the bid and ask, sell the put here, I get $1.1250. That means my break even is $1.1250 below 40. So even if it falls down and assigns it at 40, I just got paid 2.89%. Price would have to continue to fall to 38.88 or 38.87.5 cents. That is telling me that price would have to fall about 7% from the current price before I lose even a single dollar, even if I'm assigned at 40. That's a pretty good safety net for something that's going to pay us nearly 3%. Let's take a look at a couple of. Now, Constellation brands have just been holding here. We did get a little bit of a move higher, but then it came right back in. This is showing there's a strong buyer group. Look at the low, look at the low, look at the low, look at the low. There's a strong buyer group about 135. We can see that is in essence the lowest close price of the year. We tried to put in a lower low, and then the buyers stepped in and pushed this thing all the way up from 136 to 166. $30 move. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen right now, but I am saying this is deeply discounted. We have bullish cluster, bullish cluster, bullish cluster. All we need to do is have it clear the high, and we did create a bullish cluster, and we cleared the high today and came back and gave us another shot at getting in. If you look at selling the put here, and we started at 2.5%, it's 2.4, but that 2.4% is $3. The extra benefit here is if I get paid 2.4 or 2.5% and I get $3.05, price has to fall from 136.45 down to 130, get a sign there, and then fall an additional $3.05. So we have to go down to 126.95, which means we have a 7.5% safety net or margin of safety to collect this 2.4% per month. I like the trade. It works. Let's take a look at Costco. Costco, one of my favorites. And admittedly, we talked about this buy signal back here on Costco, and it's clearly late. But the gap up, close down is an exhaustion gap. And a gap up, close down, exhaustion gap says it probably is going to come back and test the gap. And the gap area is about 961.83. So we're talking about another $10 pullback. $10 pullback is 1%. Not a big deal. Let's take a look at selling that put down at the lower levels. Do we really want to wait? I don't know. It's up to you. But if we go over here and we say selling the put at 970, that's 2.25%. They will pay you $22. 970 is only $2 lower. So really it's only giving us a $24 safety net. It's only 2.5%. And that's just not enough. However, if we look at this selling the call vertical, because it's an expensive stock and we probably don't want to buy 100 shares at $970, if we go down to a delta between 30 and 40, we sell the 960. We know we're trying to see if it pulls back to 970, but if we sell the 960 and buy the 955, this is going to pay you $1.75. That is better than a 50% return on risk for a delta that's 40. You have to be right 64% of the time. And actually where we're really selling the premium, you have to be right 64% of the time on this return. We're selling that 39 delta, which means we're going to be right 61% of the time. So we're okay here. It's a fair price trade. But I like this because it would have to fall down to 360. It'd have to fall through there by $1.75. And that means you're really going down to about 357.25. Or sorry, 358.25. See, I'll get my numbers right. 358.25. Take a look at the chart. How do you feel about that? I said 350. I'm at 958.25. Look at 958.25 on this chart. You'd have to fall down, fill the gap, go through it, and get through that level through here. So I would say wait a day and then go to 355, 340 or 355, 350, and that will give you the break even back down to here. I think it will probably want to fill that gap, but notice again that bullish cluster followed by a monkey bar breakout said the good time to get into this trade is at 354.27. So let it come back down, fill that gap, sell the lower strike, whatever the delta between 30 and 40 is. And I think this is a good opportunity to pick up Costco at a discount, but give it a day or two to pull back to that level. I do also think there's opportunities to buy into the utilities again, or at least sell premium while you wait to get assigned, and then collect the big dividends. And they're at a good price now, but I think we'll talk more about these next week. But keep in mind utilities over the next couple of days, because this is a deeply discounted price, and if we really are seeing rotation into defense, these discounted prices that could easily go back up to 97, we could see this rally 15 to 20% and start collecting big dividends. And we're very, very close to getting buy signals on a lot of these utilities as they're setting up. And actually, we're getting one today on Southern on the breakout here. And Southern's not offering a lot of short put premium, so it'd be a consideration just to buy the stock so you can get paid that 3.33% dividend yield. Keep in mind that we just passed the dividend that's only paid quarterly, so the next one's not till August. But it is a discounted stock that could go all the way back up 10-15%. And we can also benefit from that dividend yield when we get there. If you want to sell the put, sell it at the money just to reduce your cost to get into the trade. It's just not giving us that 2.5%. I'd say you could sell the 91 and collect 1.93% for a month, and that's a good trade. It's still a good trade to get into the trade and really be buying down at about 89.50 as your cost basis on Southern. But I do like the chart on that as a potential breakout today. That's going to do it for me today. Just be very aware. We are rotating into safety and rotating out of technology, and that is what is lifting the S&P while the tech stocks and the Nasdaq are falling. The S&P is up 0.5%, and the Nasdaq is down 1.1%. That is the rotation away from tech. And this may be the next step into staples, defensive, and it is absolutely seeing a resurgence into healthcare after healthcare was greatly discounted this year. And that's where I'll be looking to place more trades. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the TheoTrade trade desk room tomorrow.